Hello. Hi, I'm Vivia. I'm Vivia, the president of speech. Thank you.
So, funny story. I joined because my mom forced me into it.
So what has been your favorite experience or memory in speech?
The first time I entered the speech room, I didn't know anyone, or the few people that I did know, we didn't talk much before, and I only knew them from middle school.
The very first time that I went to novice as a novice myself.
Novice year because, I mean, in general, all the speech games that they use to teach.
But once we entered that speech room, there was this bond between all of us, and immediately within 2 weeks, all of us became best friends.
It was very nerve-wracking, and I was really scared, but as the day went on, just I spent time with everybody. It was a really fun experience.
And tournaments are also so much fun. We'd play cards, and specifically I think we played Egyptian war all the time, and we'd sneak around and we'd get pizza and we'd throw stuff at each other.
Obviously it was a fantastic competitive experience, and I got to meet a lot of new competitors from different schools in the Bay, and I also got to meet a lot of judges and get really good feedback. But also it really brought the team together, I feel.
It wasn't just about the speech or the competition. It was also more about just having fun with the team and getting food and going on walks around campus and such.
And an in-person overnight tournament really brought us together and allowed us to have a really good fun time and make a lot of memories.
And going back to novice after becoming captain was a very different experience as well.
I remember back in the Kennedy days, during the tournament, we would all run to the pairings when the Monte Vista captains would post it on the doors, and doing that this morning for round one, and having everyone crowded behind me. They're oh, which round am I in? Who's my judge?
I was teaching a novice.
I was a captain playing a game with the varsities, a game of story time.
And I was helping them kind of understand what to write about their topic and how to find evidence for it and just kind of understand it as a whole.
You give a few lines to a story, and then the next person's supposed to continue it, and then the next person's supposed to continue it, and each person makes up a part of the story as they go along.
It was actually one question that I asked that I realized how important the speech was to them.
Needless to say, by the end of that story time, the duck was a black belt in karate, had been disowned by its mother, and had committed a murder.
It just felt so full circle moment for me, because I was in that position 5-6 years ago, and so just to be on the other end of that is very fulfilling.
Little things like that are just little Monte Vista speech traditions are my favorite.
In my 4 more years of doing speech, I think the largest lesson I learned is
to sometimes just take things slowly. And I remember Coach Ettinger, actually, every time I would have a watch with her, she'd tell me, she pulled up a little sign that said, speak slowly, every single time.
When I found myself in so many different scenarios this year where I had to speak in front of people, even if I don't know them, or just spontaneously speak with someone.
what matters more is how you're able to present yourself and speak about it and share your ideas with other people. Public speaking skills, technical skills, management skills.
It did look good on my college apps. Aside from that,
As a person, I can do things on my own and it made me more independent.
it's really helped me grow into this self-assured, confident person.
An authentic sense of community and fulfillment.
I think that all of us are definitely a family.
I actually really enjoyed being able to meet new people, meet new friends.
The fact that I'm oh, I'm part of speech, that just reiterated the fact why I do public speaking, why I'm part of it.
And just learning different things from every person has been something that's allowed me to grow not only as a speaker but also as a person.
One of my favorite speeches was
Finals round of impromptu at the Kennedy Middle School speech tournament.
Every day when I went to class and gave them a little pep talk speech.
My novice year speech, because it was actually my first ever year of doing original.
a speech I gave about
How we have to find our home, and I talked about how we need to do things for ourselves and not for the comfort of other people.
Which talks about passion and not having to search for passion, but rather for it to come to you.
Joking about serious issues and not realizing that people actually struggle with them.
not sweating adversity.
I honestly had no clue what I was writing about.
And it was really funny because I got the topic of Kylie Jenner and I had no idea what to do. And I talked about the randomest things about her.
The topic I got was eggs, and I was what the heck are eggs? But what? And they talked about how we eggs can become omelets, scrambled eggs, sunny side up. sucks and how I'm willing to adapt to new situations is really important.
I did my introduction, like I sang it.
I gave that speech after Stanford Decisions came out. Needless to say, I didn't make it, so it really resonated with me.
I didn't think it was anything special until I started like doing tournaments, and in the comment section in my ballots, I saw that one judge wrote that she felt that she was seeing like she said in her comments she thought she was watching a blockbuster $5 billion movie when she watched my performance.
And I got really like validated by the judge because she was like nodding and like smiling. And I was like, oh yeah, this speech is so good.
When I brought up all of these serious issues in my personal experiences, I think that judges and students both were able to kind of resonate.
And as I was giving the speech, I was literally thinking to myself, some of this seems very familiar. I don't know why.
After each speech tournament, you realize, oh, I could have fixed this mistake.
It was like the worst speech I've ever given, but also like ironically I look back and I'm like, wow, I've like grown a lot as a person.
And I think that was one of the first times that I learned from my own speech and took my own advice.
But it was just so much fun to be able to produce something from scratch out of my own beliefs and experiences for the very first time.
The value of being able to say your own words and say what you mean.
That feeling of pride and accomplishment from being able to write something like that.
I grew a lot from speech. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to be professional. I learned how to work as part of a team. And I'm proud of the relationship. I'm proud of the relationships I made and really happy for the growth I've achieved in these areas.
Really nice to see how speeches help me in day-to-day things.
It relates to my life a lot, and it has to do with a lot of like how I see life and like where I am in my life.
Really just this idea of speaking and giving back to the community and just helping out people when they need it.
And I'm really happy that my mom forced me into it because I would not be anywhere here today without my mom pushing me in middle school, which made me realize how much I love this activity and how many friends I've met through speech throughout the years.